This week on the podcast, we are here to celebrate 25 years of the animated Mulan, but we're also here to compare it to its 2020 remake. So join us, will you? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film podcast, where we dissect the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, the wonderful Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. Hey!
Hello.
They're two perfectly healthy people this week.
No,
Almost.
she may
We're
be
getting
getting
there.
Angela?
She may be getting.
Almost.
When is the last time you've ever been 100%?
Never.
Okay.
I'm 37.
Exactly.
I thought she quit
So
the
you
job.
are perfectly healthy today. And joining us once again is our good friend from the Flicks and Friends podcast. We have Dustin. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, it's so good to have you back to talk
So good to
about
be back.
a movie that I was told is your favorite Disney movie. That's kind of why you're here.
Dude, I feel like of all Disney animation, this is my number one. And
Alright.
it's number one for a reason.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to the reasons why this movie is so good, and we're gonna also
yeah.
break it down into maybe why the movie has some problems 25 years later. But as we have the last couple weeks, we started off with Beauty and the Beast, and then we did the Jungle Book last week, and now we are doing Mulan. What we are going to do is we are going to talk about the animated film and all its glory, and we'll break down the plot as we always do, and then we will shift to the remake, which came out in 2020, and we will go through the plot of that. We'll nitpick at the differences and all that fun stuff. And this is a remake that is probably the most different from its animated counterpart, from the other two that we did cover. I mean, the Jungle Book pretty much played with the same story with some pretty big changes, but it still was the same story. And Beauty and the Beast was almost a exact remake of the original. So it's nice to be able to have three different movies with like three drastically different, remakes to them. But yeah, we're gonna go around and we're gonna start with our thoughts on the '98 Mulan, and we're gonna start with our guest. So Dustin, tell us why you love this movie so much.
I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is full of fucking bangers, dude. Then I like the art style of it. Like, all the clouds are whimsical and shit like that. And then the cast is pretty stacked, and yeah, it's a solid movie, man. And when it comes to the Disney animation, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of it, let alone a lot of entire scores and or soundtracks. But this one takes the cake when it comes to a movie all around.
Dan, were you getting real close or something?
Sorry.
Were you getting
No,
real close?
what we're seeing was on Dustin's screen. She's like,
it's the
"Holy-
reflection. Oh.
the reflection on the thing back there.
Oh, it's that guy I see.
Actually, before we move on to Dan and Angela, it's something that I forgot to do. But you know what? Since you just talked, tell us a little bit about your show before we continue.
It's all good, man. Yeah, my name's Dustin. I'm 1/3 of the Flicks and Friends podcast. We are a variety movie podcast. We talk everything from animated to horror to comedy. You name it, we might do it. So we are available on any podcasting platforms, and we are on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Very good, very good. Yes, and all the links to the show will be down in the description. All right, back to it. Dan, Angela, whoever wants to go first, tell us your history with the '98 Mulan.
We were talking about this before, and I think you and I talked about this. We may not have been with the guys at work, which anyway. fucking movie. Anyway, I remember Mulan from watching old Disney VHS back in the day. I don't know, Dustin, Parker, you might remember this. I don't know. You remember sometimes when a new Disney VHS would come out, they would announce a new movie coming up, and they would have really rough versions of it. Not a whole trailer, but just as a scene from the movie, like really rough line art and animations.
Mhm.
I remember that very vividly for Mulan. I remember that trailer for that, and it was the ending scene with the Emperor. Like that was the like rough cut of it. But anyway, I remember seeing the movie. I didn't watch this in theaters. I've seen this on tape. But I was it was I when I first seen it, it was all right. You know, I didn't mind the movie, but like subsequent viewings, I ended up enjoying it more and more. And I think it's a really good movie, and I think it's slightly underrated outside of the people that just have the largest dick imaginable or equivalent for "I'll Make a Man Out of You," which is rightfully so because it's like one of the best Disney songs ever fucking made. Period. But yeah, I don't know. I just like we just watched it the other day again for the first time in forever, and I think having like a daughter, like the story resonates with me a little bit more at times, especially between Mulan and her father and that interaction and stuff. But it's great. It's a wonderful movie. It's paced well. I think the comedy's good. I think the story flows well, and the music's really good. I don't say it's my favorite Disney soundtrack, but it's definitely up there. But I still think it has one of the best Disney songs ever. That was not a me joke. That was legit. So
Did it make a man out of you?
fuck yeah, it does. My testicles grow 3 size during that song.
Donny Osmond's voice just brings it out of you.
Thank you, Mr. Osmond.
I remember watching this at one of my cousin's houses, and I don't remember watching the whole movie. Like, I know we did because I remember everything that happens, but I always remember Mushu and the songs like that. I could have cared less about anything that happened toward the end. I just love the music. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely underrated. But I like it. I love it. I can't say that's my favorite Disney movie, because they know my favorite Disney movie, but it's up there.
Which one is your favorite Disney movie?
B.
Oh.
Yes.
She likes the one where everybody dies. It's fine.
No, like I wore out 2 VHSs watching Bambi all the time, and I still have an unopened VHS somewhere in this house.
That's pretty awesome. I think I have 2. I think Pocahontas and Tarzan I still have wrapped back there.
Yeah.
But this one wasn't, because I watched this one a lot as a kid. Mulan is amazing. The art style is fantastic. The voice acting is great. Even though most of the voice actors are very white.
There's actually quite a bit more Asian.
Yes, there are. I mean, at least the main characters are represented by Asian actors and actresses. Like Ming-Na Wen is the voice of Mulan. You have BD Wong, Henry Wu himself as the voice of what was his name? Shang. Yeah. You had James Hong, the legendary James Hong. Yeah, I mean, this movie is fantastic. It, of course, is a Disney-fied version of a very. It's a story that like originated in like the early AD. It was actually a poem that no one knew who the original author was. And yeah, and it's pretty short. You can read it. It's pretty much the gist of the story, except for it doesn't really have a very happy ending, because in actuality, in feudal China, if a woman did this, yeah, they ain't living long afterwards. Doesn't matter what they do. So, of course, Disney's like, we're going to make it happy. And we got Mulan. And you know what? I'm here for it. But yeah, this movie, Mulan, was always on the rotation. It was always one I had seen many, many times as a kid. I didn't really watch it a lot as an adult. I think this was the first time I had seen it in probably like 10 plus years, unless my kids had it on or something over the years. But yeah, I mean, it still holds up so well today. And the great thing about Disney animated films is they're nice, short, and sweet. They don't
Yes.
drag anything along. You move from scene to scene with no lull moments, and that's what I love about Disney animation. And yeah, the art style very different than what we've seen from Disney, and the fact that this movie is 25 years old still blows my mind. And yeah, and then like Ming-Na Wen, who is the voice of Mulan, she like, where did she go after this? Up until like Agents of Shield. Like I don't remember seeing her in many things. I know she was in movies and stuff, but it wasn't until Agents of Shield came out and she was one of the prominent characters, and I remember hearing her voice for the first time and being like, who is this? And I had to look it up, and I saw she was the voice of Mulan, and I was like, that is insane. Where were you for like 20 or however long? I think it was like 20. I don't remember when Shield came out. It was like 2016 or something like that.
Something like that.
But
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. This is a top tier Disney movie that we'll talk about why it didn't need a remake. One thing is the fact that Mulan is not a strictly Disney story. Like I stated, it was a poem. It was a story that has been told for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so it has been told on screen before. And even before this version of Mulan came out, there were live action versions of Mulan that came out over in China. So it's like, what are we doing? Why do we need Disney to then remake their version, which really has nothing to do with this other than some certain elements? But we'll dive into that more when we get to that part of the show. But some behind the scenes stuff. This movie was directed by Barry Cook and Tony Bancroft. I watch a YouTube channel called Corridor Crew. It's they're VFX artists, and they actually sat down with Tony Bancroft because him and his brother are longtime animators for Disney. And this was actually his first time directing. I think he was only in his like early 20s when he directed this movie. And he's done other stuff. He worked on like Rescuers Down Under. Let's see what else he got here. He worked for like DreamWorks for a bit. He did some animation on The Lion King, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and his last thing he worked on as an animator was for Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, A New Legacy.
Oh,
you got me.
He did the anime. He was he animated for Daffy Duck. But yeah, he's got a lot of cool stories. So check out Corridor Crew YouTube channel and just look up Tony Bancroft and you'll see that video. Then we have Barry Cook, who has directed and been an animator since 1982. He actually was an effects animator on the original Tron. He did effects for The Black Cauldron, Little Mermaid, Rescues Down Under. He was the VFX supervisor for Beauty and the Beast. So there's two different studios. There was the Florida studio and there's a California studio. So he was the VFX supervisor for the Florida studio, and then you would have a VFX supervisor for California, because actually when these movies are being made, they literally are like tasked into making certain things like, okay, we're going to give you this stuff. This studio is going to get this stuff. And then once we're all done, we just kind of throw it all together.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Florida studio only did like 3 movies.
Yeah. They did Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. I don't know what the other one is. He also
Lilo and Stitch. Is that what came out from Florida?
I don't know offhand. But he did. He also worked on the Aladdin video game, so he actually worked on the movie and the video game, which is always cool.
The Genesis port, because the Genesis port worked very closely with Disney Animation, not the SNES port. Capcom handled that one.
So this was written by Robert D. Sansoki. He was actually the one who converted, I think, the Chinese legend of Mulan into English, and then kind of they took the story from that to make the movie. So that's kind of where his story credit comes in. I don't know how much he worked with Disney when they made this movie, but it was mostly his translation of the original poem that influenced Disney to make this movie. As we stated before, the cast: Ming-Na Wen as Mulan. We have Eddie Murphy as Mushu. We have B.D. Wong as Captain Li Shang. But his singing voice is provided by Donny Osmond. I wanted to hear BD Wong sing.
Yes.
We got Miguel Ferrer as Shan Yu, who is the villain of this movie. We have June Foray as Grandmother Fa. We have Harvey Firestein. I knew it was him.
Yeah.
You hear that voice, you're like, that's Harvey.
David.
We're going to be talking about him in a couple weeks when we cover a certain movie about a man who dresses like a woman.
Yep.
Yeah. So, we have Gede Watanabe as Ling. We have Jerry Tondo as Chine Po, James Hong as Chi Fu, Sun Tek O as Fa Zhu, Pat Morita, wax on, wax off, if you know what I mean, as the Emperor of China, George Takei as the first ancestor, and Miriam Margolyes, which was a wild one that I didn't realize. She was Professor Sprout in the first Harry Potter movie. She's an English, she's a UK legend.
I always point her out in Little Shop of Horrors in the dentist office because she's the assistant that gets the door slammed on her face by Steve Martin the whole time.
And guess what? Frank Welker's here, guys.
Yes, he is.
As the voice of the horse.
Yep.
I mean,
oh God, Frank Welker, man, he's just making the easiest buck. You know, he's just like, we need a horse sound. Frank, call Frank up. Give him that quick dollar. Damn, man.
I will say though, of a production of this time, though, I know certain characters obviously aren't, but there's a lot of Asian actors in this film, a lot more than I realized. Yeah, they could have been like, put 2 or 3 people in and call it good. Yeah. But there's actually quite a few of them.
Yeah, I was talking to I think Darren from Nostalgia Cast on Twitter, and he was mentioning the fact of like, hey, make sure you mention how many Asian actors there are compared to like, you know, white actors. And going through this, yes, there are a lot of white actors in this movie, and when it comes to animation, they kind of that's their way of getting away with it. Yeah. Unless you look it up and figure out who it is. But when you get to like when you get to the live action version, that's when you get into a problem. Like you can't just you could. Movies have done it before. It's not good. Yeah. Whitewashing isn't a good thing. But it's happened. But I'm glad that's one thing that I'm really happy with the live action is the representation that they had. Jackie Chan was actually the voice and the singing voice for Li Shang in the 3 Chinese versions, and he appeared in the version of promotional videos for the I'll Make a Man Out of You. I haven't heard it, but I really want to hear Jackie Chan's version of I'll Make a Man Out of You.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
So good. I wish they just I mean, would his accent just be too thick for him to sing it in English? So we didn't have to have Donny Osmond, even though Donny Osmond's version is so good.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
We won't dig into that. So yeah, this movie came out on June 19th, 1998. It runs at 87 minutes, nice, short and sweet, like I stated. Had a budget of $90 million. It's actually pretty high for a Disney movie in the 90s. But it made $304 million, which not one of the higher moneymakers for Disney. This made a lot of money, but when we talked about Jungle Book last week, which came out in 1967 and made almost as much as this or more, almost 30 or over 30 years beforehand. So the fact is, like, it made money, but not as much, I think, as Disney wanted. We would get a sequel though, which did bring back Ming-Na Wen and BD Wong in their respected roles. It's a generic sequel that didn't go to theaters, and the animation is very poor, in my opinion. It's weird. I remember I actually watched Jungle Book 2 after we recorded our episode because I wanted to see how different it was or how it felt. It actually felt like a pretty good sequel. Like the animation style was actually pretty good. The voice acting was good. And actually, I think Jungle Book 2 actually went to theaters It was like the last time a Disney animated sequel went to theaters. But I checked it out. That was actually a good one. Mulan 2, I felt like, other than the fact you got a couple original cast members back, the animation just throws me off.
I tried watching it.
It's not great.
What's another example is like I watched Atlantis, the first Atlantis movie with Michael J. Fox, which I love. I love the art style of that movie and the way that they use like CG and all that. And then I watched the sequel. I got 5 minutes in. I was like, I can't. This looks horrendous. The voice acting is not that bad. It's just the animation style. I'm like, wow, what is the budget for this? Was it like $10 and a fucking bag of Doritos? Like, what is going on here? Jesus.
They got some Taco Bell.
This is I rarely will start a movie and not finish it. I couldn't. I was 5 minutes in. I was like, I can't do this. And also Michael J. Fox didn't come back. So that was another one to just, when you can't bring the main character back, nah, I'm out. I can't do it. Can't do it. All right. Well, are you guys ready to talk about the plot of the 98 Mulan?
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. So this movie opens up to the Great Wall of China. I guess this was a freshly built wall because this wall is the reason this movie happens. So the Huns are our main villains of this one, and they attack the wall. I love the opening of this movie because of just the imagery of it. You got the guards on the wall, they're looking over the side, and then you got the hooks coming up, but you don't see the people below until they start coming up. And they make the Huns look scary as hell. They look mangy. They're like bags under their eyes, and then like Shen Yu, he's got like those like eagle eyes, which is like burn into your soul. So the Emperor is then notified through a series of fires. Like they set the fires along the wall, and then he is alerted. The Emperor in this movie, very kind of uppity compared to when we talk about Jet Li's version of the Emperor in the remake. I like this Emperor. He's very upbeat. He's just like, we got this, guys. Don't worry. Where like Jet Li is like, he's got to be very like stern and serious. And it's like, I understand what's happening, but I think you're going too hard there, Jet. So this is when we meet Mulan, and she's being sent to a matchmaker. So she's got to like study different things. So she's like, for one, writing answers to questions on her arm with ink. I don't think it's gonna work well, as we see later. Yeah.
That's what I do with mine when we do this. I just have notes on my arm.
He's got a notebook 6 inches away. The arm is better.
This is more convenient. I can't forget the arm.
I did that a few times in high school.
Forgot your arm?
No,
Oh.
wrote answers.
Oh
on
yeah,
my arm.
on my hand all the time.
All the time.
When I was in Latin, I didn't know Latin. Fuck that shit. Just wrote it on my hand.
Answer.
Actually, my teacher in high school, my Latin teacher in high school, was so oblivious that literally we would take a test that was almost formatted in the same exact order and way that our practice test was. And so everyone would just put their notebook on the ground right next to their desk, and literally you could just take your test and just peek down, and the teacher would never notice. Why did I have a 96 in that class? You probably should have picked that up.
Yeah. Well played, sir. Well played.
He's never going to listen to this. So, and too bad. I've spent 11 years. It's too late now.
Sailed, old man.
Oh,
the time is over.
I'm almost out of school 20 years. Don't remind me.
Old lady.
I know I'm old. Next year.
Next year?
I graduated in 04.
Yeah. I was still in middle school in 04.
Yeah, shut up.
Also, I hadn't seen this movie in so long. When she's calling out for a little brother, I thought she had a little brother. I was like, oh, it's a dog. I forgot. Damn.
There's sleeping ass dog that's gonna help her do her chores.
Yeah.
What's like, wait, she's got a little brother in this one? I don't remember. Oh, the dog, right? The dog that literally plays into nothing. You see it once in the beginning and then at the end, and then it's just like, okay.
It kind of
I was-
foreshadows something in the live action movie too that you only see at the beginning and at the very end.
Yeah.
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 I was just waiting for she puts the bone in the front of the dog. I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, well, that dog's gone.
Yeah.
It's just gonna keep chasing that bone forever.
He runs into the wall. She picks him up
Yeah.
and sets him in his path.
Yeah.
So Mulan in this version is kind of clumsy. It's hard for her to get
Feel
things
that.
done without causing destruction. I like how her dad's like praying for her, and then she tries to give him tea, and it things happen where he literally like, I'm just gonna go back and pray some more.
Yeah.
Pray harder, damn it.
Oh, I feel sorry for our kids because we're both clumsy like that, and they get it. I get it.
Man,
Times two.
kids are just naturally clumsy.
I'm 37 and I can still trip over nothing.
You fall upstairs.
I do all the time.
Oh, okay.
You gotta lift your feet,
do.
Angela. You gotta lift your feet.
I
Every
do.
step you lift your foot.
I can literally be walking at work and I can hit the ball of my shoe on the floor and just trip. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. But once it starts, it doesn't stop. Like it's just one right after the other. That's
Domino
why I have
effect.
no That's why I have no fingernails because I break them all the time.
I just got this mental interaction of you just like going up, like, all right, body, we got this. Upstairs, upstairs, upstairs. You got this. You got this next step, right? Got what? Ugh.
I have missed the step trying to run up the steps. I have missed it completely.
Oh no.
Yes, that is me.
Oh, we meet her mom and her grandma. I love her grandma. I love Disney.
Oh, yeah.
One thing Disney always did so well was creating older characters, like memorable older characters, like grandparents of the main character. Because one of my favorite like characters that kind of reminds me of the grandma in this is the grandmother in Moana. They're very similar in a way. They're very wise. They do their own thing. They're always like standing up. Like, of course, she was most likely not how elderly Chinese women were back in feudal China. But I like the fact that she is created this way. She stands up for herself. She's like when things are going the way they're supposed to, she's still questioning it. I just love it. I love little old ladies, or mostly it's ladies, little old ladies in these Disney movies. They're great. They're the best. But yeah, we meet them, and this is where we see the grandma's got the cricket, and the lucky cricket. She crosses the street, just causes mass destruction.
His hand over her face.
Yeah. And the cricket, I love it. The other cricket's just like, oh no.
Poor cricket.
We then we get the very sexist song that is sung as she's preparing to go meet the matchmaker. Yes, I have to mention that. People can yell woke all they want. Listening to this song is like, wow. It opens your eyes when you read the lyrics. And yeah, so she has to go face the matchmaker, and this is when everything just goes to shit. She's got the cricket there, and she's trying to get the cricket out of there, but the cricket ends up going into the matchmaker's cleavage. Craziness ensues. She's got like her inked mustache because the ink from her arm rubs off on her. And yeah, and then of course it's one of those things where like all this happens, and then she just gets out. She's like, Mulan, bring shame to our family. And I was like, damn.
Fa Mulan.
You bring shame to your family, to your country.
Like if that's what it takes being clumsy, then I'm definitely the shame of my family. That's all it takes.
I was like, damn, the rules here are crazy. This is when we get Reflections sung for the first time, which wild to think about was when they play it at the end of the movie during the credits. I'm like, is that Christina Aguilera? It is. Yeah. And guess who came back in 2020 to do it again? Christina Aguilera. She is awesome. And her version of this song is fantastic. She doesn't sing this version of the song, but I love both of her versions. She actually sings it in Spanish as well, I think. She does a Spanish version of the song.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera, very underappreciated. So Mulan's dad tries to cheer her up, and this is when we get as he's in like mid conversation, you hear the drums play in the village to kind of call everyone into the village square. What the heck is the character's? Is it Chifu? Is that James Hong's character? He's the one who
Shifu.
he announces that there needs to be one man from each family to join the army to fight against the Huns because the Huns are going to attack. And so, unfortunately, Fazuk, he doesn't have any sons, so he's got to volunteer, and he's got a bum leg. So he's
already fought in one great war.
Yeah,
so
which, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm looking at this. If I'm in that situation, you're looking at like, it's okay, you can stay. Like, you don't. But it's all about honor. It's all. I mean, that was his whole thing. He didn't want to go, but that's just the way it worked. Like, it was all about honor, protecting your country and your family. And so this is when she is watching her father kind of, he gets his sword out, he's moving around, but he's not doing it so gracefully. And so this is when Mulan gets the idea that she's going to take his place. And this is when we get a very 90s tune playing during it's so out of place for this movie. I felt like I was watching like a 90s action movie.
I thought it was like an 80s synth, like, here he is preparing for the assault. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
It reminds me a lot of when we get the montage of Kevin McAllister setting up all of his traps.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me
very
of.
Much that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, I like it. I like this song, but it just did not fit what we were seeing on screen.
Yeah.
So she's going to take her father's place. This is where we meet the ancestors, and we get we meet Mushu, who I guess once was a protector, but he fucked up, got one of the family members killed, and suddenly this guy's holding his own head.
Oh yeah,
like, thanks, man. But he's now just like the guy who has to like summon the spirits.
Rings the gong.
Yeah. And the question is, so they're like, we need to get the great, animal protector, which is the beast statue outside. Why does he never wake up?
Stone Dragon, because he breaks.
No. Before that, he's there for a good 30 seconds, banging his gong, trying to wake him up, and this motherfucker don't wake up.
That's fair.
He's been asleep forever. You don't want to wake up. 5 more minutes, Mom.
I don't know. Like, he rings the gong up. I mean, why didn't any of the other ancestors wake up, or the guardians wake up either? Like, I wonder if there's like a pattern you have to, gong. Like, he probably did it wrong. You know what I mean?
Very true. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But yeah, so he gets frustrated that he can't wake it up, and he breaks the statue. So I'm guessing, is the spirit just not able to come out of this thing now that it's broken? It's a fucking spirit, man.
So he got that one guy's head chopped off, and now he's holding the other dragon's head above his head, dude. So I don't know what Mushu's deal is about decapitating people.
He's got a knack for it.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it. Yeah, two for two.
Yeah. So his plan is, since he doesn't want to face the ancestors with the problem that he is faced with, he decides he's going to go prove himself to the ancestors. So he leaves. We then see the carnage that the Huns are causing. This is where we get a good look at Shan Yu again, and he is terrifying. And we find out that the Great Wall is the reason why the Huns are attacking. Pretty much, he's like, if your emperor didn't put this wall up, we wouldn't be here. But your emperor pretty much forced his hand, showed his aggression against us, and so we got to prove something to him.
That pointed out, he's like, something about a wall. He said something about a wall. He's like,
I know he said something about it. I just don't remember what it was.
No, I think he was talking about the Great Wall.
Yeah, well, our middle one was asking all kinds of questions about this movie, and he's like, oh, he said the Great Wall of China was still there? And I'm like, or he's like, it was there in this movie? And I'm like,
It's been around for a
Yeah.
couple days at least.
Like it's been
Couple
around
days.
for just a little bit.
Yeah. It's been there for a little bit.
But see, he had all the questions about this movie, and then our daughter had all the questions about the live action. Like they were just completely. He was more worried about what was going on because he is so literal about everything. Like if something were to happen, and he knows what happened in history, he's like, it didn't happen like that. He's like,
Yeah.
that didn't do that. I'm like, it's a movie. Come on. It's just a movie.
I do the same thing. I mean, that's the point of this show. We do that here.
Yes.
That's not how that happened.
But you could tell him, like, they'll ask what time it is, and you better tell them exactly, like, right now it's 9:18. You can't say it's 9:20. They'll be like, no, it's not.
Yep.
They're so literal about
my son does
everything.
that too. So I feel you.
I'm like, come on.
So Mulan practices being a man. And in that is Mushu teaching. She meets Mushu, who then teaches her how to do manly things like walking, and it looks like she needs to take a dump. And she's got
going on.
Yeah, and we also see that in this version she cuts her hair short to then put it up in the bun. So yeah, and then she goes into the village. Everybody's like, "What the fuck is going on here? Who is this? This is weird." Also, Mushu calls the horse a cow, which I always thought was funny. It's so it's such a simplistic line, but it always made me chuckle. Eddie Murphy, as much as you kind of like when you're looking at it before you see the movie, and you're like, Eddie Murphy is in this movie. Mushu is such a great character.
Yeah,
he's funny.
And we'll get to it. So Mulan meets her comrades, and it doesn't go well because Mushu is kind of telling her what to say to them.
Just we tell men say hello.
Yeah. Who you calling a chicken, you limp noodle?
So good. And yeah, it doesn't go well for anyone. This is when we also meet Captain Li Shang, who is tasked to train the new recruits. We also find out that the general is his father, and he wants to fight, but he is being told he needs to stay here, train all these new recruits, and he's got to hang out with the douchebag there, James Hong there. And yeah, he's pretty much like, yeah, you tell me, you're going to tell me everything that's going on here. He's like, every single thing.
And I won't leave anything out.
The worst. I hate this guy. So the captain and Mulan, they don't get off on the right foot because Mulan's still trying to figure out how to do this thing, and Mushu is also still not helping, to the point where she punches him. She's like, it's one of those like, bro punches. Like, come on, man. And he's what the fuck? So we then get the task of the captain shooting the arrow to the top of this pole, and it's pretty much of a competition to see who can get up there. And you have to use these two weights that are attached, and no one is having any luck getting up there. This is when we get. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just want to point out that I thought it was dumb when I was younger, but now I just think it's brilliant. The scene where Mulan is talking to Shang, and he keeps asking for her name, and Mushu was just fucking her up the whole time. I just love that scene.
Oh, that's a guy that I knew as a kid, and he owed me money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because at first, doesn't she say his name? He's like, no.
She says something like Ling. No, that's Ling. Like, oh, wait, yeah, that's his name. No, I don't want to know his name. What's your name?
Yeah.
So this is when we get "Make a Man Out of You," which is a great song. And Mulan goes from, and we get the montage of her going from complete bumbling fool to being able to do everything, shooting arrows straight. And Shan Yu is scary, as I stated before. Every time I see this guy, I'm like, this dude just looks like a villain. Like, it's so good. I love the distinction between him and like everybody else. Like, all of his guys, they look like the undead, to be honest. Like, it looks like a zombie army.
They look like bad guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're not double taking. You're not questioning things. You're like, no, this is the bad guy.
You see these guys like third grade pictures, like they're gonna be villains or terrorists, like one of the.
But they look the same. They look the same. Like,
Yeah.
Smaller.
Hey, no, you got Shun Yu with a fucking bowl cut.
He's
Fuck
mad
me,
because of
that'd
that bowl cut. That's one of the reasons why
Yeah.
he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
good.
So they find out that the general and the Imperial Army are going to a certain pass. So at first, Shen Yu is told he should try to go around it, but he's like, no. If they're gonna be there, we're gonna be there. And that's when he's got the doll, and he's like, I gotta go
Yes.
bring this doll back to the little girl. And I was like, that is the scariest line in a Disney movie.
He's a
Oh,
fucking
that is-
serial killer, dude. He has
Yeah.
to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, as sort of just being like obviously a military, but like in his side job when he's not running a group of military butchers, he's a serial killer.
Yeah, dude. Like, this is my favorite sequence of the whole movie because they
Yeah.
take that doll and they pass it to like 3 different people,
Yep.
and each person inspects it, and they're like, white horse hair, smells like sulfur, this and that.
Mhm.
Dude, it's so fucking rad, man. Like, that's probably my favorite sequence of the whole movie.
It's what it really sets up that like they're not just like arg, we're villains, bad guys, which they are, but they're very intelligent. Like they know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
And he goes, how many people does it take to go let the Imperial Guard run away? And he goes, 1, and he fucking shoots that arrow at the other dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh,
scene, too.
so good.
This is when we get the skinny dipping scene where Mulan, she goes to take a bath, and then all the rest of the guys come in, and it's the whole thing of everybody's trying to get close to her, like, bro hugs and stuff, and she's just like getting away from them all, to the point where like Mushu has to help by like he shows himself to them, and they're like, Snake!
Bites butts.
He bites a butt, and then he's like brushes his teeth later.
Yeah. I am Yao, king of the rock.
Yes.
I am never doing that again.
Yeah.
I'm never biting butts again.
I don't want to be that close to anybody in a bathtub anyway. Get away.
And then she goes, I don't want to ever see a naked man again. And like, as she says that, the entire army runs by.
Yeah.
Naked, dude.
Yeah.
But here's the question: is like, she gets out of the lake. I don't know, because we dissect that film and we like to dive into stupid things like this. She wears her towel, like most women wear their towels, covering up the boobs. She does that. Most guys don't do that. They just don't question it. Who cares? I guess. Who
I
cares?
know when she got out of the lake, she was standing behind Frank Welker. And as they were all still worried about the snake, so no one was paying attention to
That's
that.
true.
So I don't know.
That's true.
At that part, sure, but when everyone was running past, I don't know if they noticed and or seen her.
Yeah.
So
Chin Fu was wearing his towel like that when they run him out of the lake later. I do not
Oh,
scream like a girl. He has his
Oh
towel.
yeah.
You guys owe me another slipper.
It's like, wait.
Yes.
He deserved it. Yeah, so then we get the scene where the Emperor's advisor is a dick, and this is when he like threatens to not let the troops into battle. He's pretty much just like, yeah, you guys aren't ready, and I'm going to tell your dad that. And then Mushu has to come up with a trick to send a fake message to him to state they need this troop to go to that pass, and he believes it. So they send him out.
What are you about? What's the matter? You never seen a black and white before?
Yeah.
What are you doing asking me questions? We're in the middle of a war, man.
Yeah, I love. He's riding a panda.
Yeah, like
Yes.
He's riding a panda, and then I love the panda just starts walking up the tree,
yeah.
Dude,
and the
he's sitting
thing
there
just is
talking-
like, "Wah."
he's sitting there talking to him, and the whole torso turns to face him.
So good.
Oh, Christ.
This is when we get our third song or fourth song, I don't remember, which is "A Girl Worth Fighting For." And what a transition it goes from them singing the song to then seeing the fiery remnants of this village. I was like, wow,
This is the
damn,
best transition.
Disney.
One of the best
Yeah.
transitions of a Disney movie
Yeah.
ever.
Holy
Like,
crap.
Everything was song and dance up until the real shit was happening in front
Yeah.
of them, dude. Like that's when they pivoted and realized everything was real.
Mhm.
It's cool because
So-
the song doesn't even technically finish. It actually cuts off before
Yeah.
that last layer.
Yeah.
because it shows it from like somebody is standing in front of them as they're singing, but then it turns to them singing what they're singing.
The only girl who loves him is his mother.
Yes.
You got the big guy whose line was like, "I don't care what she looks like, I just care how she cooks."
What she cooks like,
Yeah.
dude. That again, man. This fucking soundtrack is a banger, dude. It's a good soundtrack.
So yeah, they find that pretty much the entire Imperial army that was sent there with the general's leadership completely wiped out. You got the one guy who just brings Shang the helmet of his father. He creates like a little memorial on the side of the mountain. We get Mushu fucking up some. He fucks up enough to cause the Hun attack on the snowy mountain, and there's a lot of them. There's literally like 20 of the 20 Chinese Imperial soldiers there, part of that group, and then you have like the entire ridge line is just full of Huns.
I do want to say something here real fast. We'll go back to the villages after the one dude gives Shang the helmet of his father. Is obviously Mulan actually finds the doll for the little girl he talked about earlier. And this whole scene, like the end of Girl Worth Fighting For into this scene, is my favorite part of this movie because it does so much to explain everything that's happening and how significant and important it is without, like, outside of you see the bodies of the soldiers, but you don't ever see any of the civilians or anything, but everything's obviously implied what happens, and it's done very effectively. And which is funny because this movie's still rated G.
Yep.
Well, apparently there were 3 different versions of that scene, and they went with what looked exactly what you said. What looked like it would be implied, not in detail and or vague. It's what is implied. So that we got like the mild sauce of it.
I thought they did a great job with what they showed.
It was perfect.
It was amazing. It was, like I said, that is my favorite part of this whole movie.
Yeah,
it's a great transition, and it just shows like how you can go from like light to dark so quick.
Yeah, not to derail what you were just talking about. And I love the scene, by the way, where Mushu fucks up and calls the Han attack.
Yeah.
He just cuts back to them. He's pointing at the cricket.
Yeah, he lights the fucking rocket.
I love these rockets, by the way. They're just dragon heads. They're so cool. Yeah. So, yeah, Mulan comes with an idea. There's only one rocket left. She steals the rocket. She shoots it at one of the ridges that causes an avalanche, which then buries all the Huns. Also, somehow she survives riding the avalanche like she's surfing with a horse.
It looked like water.
Yeah, and she like saves Shang. And yeah, I don't understand. They redo this scene in the remake, and I still go, how the fuck did she survive this?
Yeah, because
plot armor.
Mushi's on the rocket, and he's like, "It was 6 feet in front of you, and you missed."
yes, that was great.
Yeah, that's like right when she gets chopped too. Like Shun Yu gets in a fucking honor and gets her.
Yep.
And we've got some proper blood from it too. It shows later on her armor and stuff. And they still keep it G. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So they go off the cliff. This is what my note said. They go off the cliff, and somehow 5 grown-ass men are able to pull 2 full-grown people and a horse
with an arrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
With
an arrow.
Okay. Sure. Yep. All right.
Sure.
Science.
I mean, they got some strong rope.
Well, it's just a big dude. He literally just walks up, picks them all up. He's
fucking
literally one guy.
Just like, okay.
All right, come here.
Yeah.
So yeah, she we find out that she's injured, and she gets examined, and of course, she is found out. I mean, here's the thing. They go in there. I mean, the doctor finding out normal, right? Because he's probably gonna have to take the wrapping off of her chest. But like everyone just kind of knows automatically when she walks out. Like Shang knows because he was told, but everybody else is like, oh, she's a woman.
Well, Chi makes the big deal about her, or whatever, because he throws her out of the tent.
Yeah,
a woman, Baba, burn the witch.
Pretty much.
Wrong movie.
Yeah, it's close.
She weighs the same weight as a goose.
How do you know she's a witch?
Because she looks like one.
They don't put this nose on me.
She turned me into a newt. What? I got better. Son of a bitch.
So, of course, the penalty for this is death, but Shang, he lets her live because a life for a life. She saved his life, and so he will save hers. But she is to leave. Shame, shame. Shame to your family.
Shake my finger at you.
Shun the non-believer.
Shun.
So Shan Yu and a few of his army guys survive. They rise up literally like the undead, as I stated before.
Like
Dude,
Daisy.
there's those two fucking the Tweedledee and Tweedledum twins that are like shirtless pirate dudes. Man, fuck that shit, dude. You don't think they would? I think hypothermia would kick in at that point if they were buried. You know what I mean?
These guys aren't normal. They're not normal humans.
They're bad guys.
They got blood armor too.
Can we just state though that the fact that the capital is just on the bottom of this hill? They're like, oh shit, there it is. We gotta go there. Mulan, she goes back. She has to warn Shang that the Huns are still alive.
They got that, by the way, they got that parade set up real fucking fast.
Right? What were they told, like 13 seconds before?
Like, it's okay. They're going to beat these fuckers before they get here. By the time they show up, we're just rolling into a parade.
And they had time for the Huns to get there and infiltrate the parade.
Yes.
Yep.
All while being buried in snow.
Yep. Because the Huns get to the capital and they take the emperor hostage. We then get the scene where the guys dress up like women, they dress like women. Are they geishas? Is that a thing? Yeah. And at first I was like, why are they doing this? And then you find out why.
Geishas are Japanese.
Okay.
So it would be well, they call them later. It's like, look, concubines. Ugly.
Oh, okay. That's
and the other one's just sitting there going,
I know. Yes, I know, dude. It's so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This dude don't fucking care. It's great. He's like, I'll take ass wherever I can get it, bro.
So they sneak. So they sneak into the palace, and also we forgot to mention the fact that Shan Yu has this really devilish hawk that flies around and spies and attacks and stuff. Well, Mushu barbecues him. Turns him into looks like a chicken. So then we get the final fight.
I call Mongolian barbecue.
Yes. Shan Yu's sword is the sharpest around because this man is cutting through gigantic wooden pillars like they are nothing.
Well, he is a massive human being as well, so I would think the force behind his swings would help for sure.
I guess. Those are some thick ass poles, but okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So, and then does Mushu make a Batman reference when he goes to scare the two guys in the shack, like in the where that garden all the fireworks?
I'm pretty sure
those two guys that are with the fireworks, the directors, they animated themselves into the movie. Yeah,
that's nice.
Nice.
When you got that power, abuse it, folks.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Got to make your cameos wherever you can.
I would. Yeah.
Who are you? I'm your worst nut. It's almost like a Rambo reference.
Yeah, but he's got the bat. He's got the bat wings, so it looks like he's got his cape out.
Yeah, he's like a real dragon now.
Yeah,
I would think Batman as well. I'm just like, this is Batman.
Yeah,
I'm Batman. So yeah, the Shan Yu gets fireworked, right? Literally gets sent off. Do you guys ever see The Rock with Nicolas Cage? The way the final guy in that movie gets sent off with the rocket.
Mm-hmm. I remember the bath beads. I'm sorry.
The what?
From The Rock. The bath beads from The Rock.
You want to know who really killed JFK?
And yeah, so the Huns have been destroyed. We bow down to Mulan. Yay, she did it. and she's offered a position as like a part of the guard for the Emperor. An officer. Yeah, it's changed in the remake. And she declines because she needs to go see her family and kind of apologize for just kind of leaving.
I like how she tried, like the Emperor tries to give her
Yeah.
Fu's job. Let's just take his job. Fuck this guy.
I don't like this guy.
There are no jobs available. Huh, then you can have his.
Rip.
But yeah, she gets a medallion pretty much to prove that she did something for the Emperor. She returns home and Shang shows up, and you find they're gonna be a couple. And Mushu is made a guardian again. Good job, Mushu. You did it. You proved yourself, and now you get to be a guardian. And that's it. That's the end of the 98 animated Mulan. And now we are going to travel, 22 years into the future?
Yes.
Yeah.
And talk about the 2020 remake.
Together, we can make a difference. That's been the sign off for everything Livestream for the Cure related ever since the event began back in 2017. Hello everyone, my name is Nick and I am the host of the Livestream for the Cure, an annual charity event to raise money for the Cancer Research Institute for immunotherapy research for a world immune to cancer. And over the past 6 years, we've made that difference together. Amazing listeners, amazing viewers, amazing podcast partners and content creators all coming together, and we've raised over $70,000. But this year, we're going to make our biggest difference to date, and we're going to raise $25,000 for the Cancer Research Institute. Tune into the event at twitch.tv/livestreamforthecure starting May 18th, as we're joined again by podcast partners and content creators from around the world to help the Cancer Research Institute crush cancer. Together, we will make a difference.
I think at the end of Mulan, the end of Mulan 98, it should have whatever, I don't even know what song they play. Some song for the movie. I don't fucking know. They should have just played Eddie Murphy's Party all the time. That's just what they should just play. Fuck movie. It was so good.
They play I think it's Reflections, right? Isn't it? They do the Christina Aguilera's.
No, like at the end of the credit, but like leading up to the credits,
where
he's like
okay.
partying with the ancestors.
Yes.
That's where they should play Party.
Yeah.
All right. The 2020 Mulan remake. So this movie had a troubling time because this movie came out during the height of COVID. This was when Disney Plus decided they were going to I think this came out in theaters, but also you could pay $30 on Disney Plus to watch it at home, which is just no thank you. I didn't watch this movie until it was on Disney Plus for no extra charge. It was released fully on September 4th, 2020. It had a budget of $200 million.
And it made 2.
It made 70, which is not
really
good. Yes.
No, that's not.
No. And yeah, it's something, and we're going to talk about it. So let's go around the room and talk about our thoughts on the 2020 remake. So Dustin, lead us off.
All right, so I seen this movie when it came out, and then I watched it the other night, and on my second viewing, I feel like I'm a little too harsh on it because I love the animated one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember it was better than I remember it being the first time I watched it. There are a lot of things I wish that they took out that should have been in there. There were a lot of unnecessary changes that they did make, but if they were trying not to make it as whimsical as the animated movie and a little more faithful to the culture,
mm-hmm.
then they shouldn't have had the Hawk Lady there. You know what I mean? Give me Mushu instead. If you're gonna sacrifice this character for realism, but give me a character that's almost similar, then why have the character period?
Right.
So I didn't hate it my second go around, but I'm still not a huge fan of it.
Alrighty. Angela.
Felt like this was Mulan only in name. Like if it
Yeah.
had a different name, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. This is the first time I've watched it. I really enjoyed it. I just felt like they should have not given it the Mulan name.
I don't agree with that. I think they should have just Disney should have just not. This should never. Disney shouldn't have done this. This as a non-Disney movie would have been fun.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this still is the story of Mulan. So like taking the Mulan name away, I don't think would make any sense because this still is the story of Mulan. Disney just didn't need to do this.
Yeah. But like I don't feel like it was a remake of the animated version. There was way too much different.
Oh yeah.
Like even from the very beginning. Like there's a lot that she did that she would not have gotten away with. Like she did a lot in private that she should have gotten caught for. She would never have made it to where she was from what she did. Like there's a lot of that's like her family is just kind of like got the blinders on, that they know what's going on, that she wouldn't have gotten away with. But I agree. Disney definitely should not have been a part of it. But I really enjoyed it up until a point. Like, yes, it was 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely parts in it that could have been cut out that weren't necessary. Because it got to a point where I'm just like, I took my phone out and I'm like, yep, I'm not missing anything. So, but yeah, for the most part, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a female, so like there's certain female power. Not really.
I mean
but
that's
there was definitely certain things that I'm like, yep, she's a female. She's a badass. You know.
woke. So woke.
Not like that. Like I enjoy
No, I just like that was a joke.
I enjoy I enjoy it when a female doesn't need a man to
woke
do things for her. I hate asking for help when I know I can do it.
I'm sorry. I just want to be
I'm
like every man out there who just likes to yell woke for no fucking reason when they don't even understand what the fucking word means.
And I enjoy the fact that it is not about falling in love. Like,
yes,
I hate
I like
those. Like, I enjoy. There are certain movies that I enjoy. I'm like, take the fucking love story out of it. Like, it doesn't always need to be about two people falling in love.
Yeah.
I mean, I am in love, but it does not need to be like, you don't need an action movie where two people fall in love at the end, or that's the underlying tone of it. Like, oh, they see each other, oh, immediately fall in love. Like, no, that's not how it works.
That's how it worked for. That's how it worked for me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh, you immediately fell in love with your wife when you saw her for the first time?
Yeah, I did. Not again. Not even joking.
Hey, ask him. I don't even remember him being in the room.
It's fucking true. I mean, it's not. I had to remind her about it. I was like, "Yeah, I was there. You weren't there. I was 100% there because I could tell her something that happened in that situation that only 5 other fucking people would know."
Oh, that's great. All right, Dan.
I love you.
I love you too.
Talk to us about this movie.
Okay, at the beginning of this movie, it says something along the lines of, "There's been a lot of different stories about Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
This is my version." And they really should have hammered that line home, because as everybody else has said here so far, this is a very reimagining if you base it on Mulan, the animated series, but obviously, or the animated movie, but obviously this is a tale that existed before, and I don't know how much closer this is to that tale, which is apparently just a poem. So literally, it's not really a remake; it's just a live action Mulan.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't even think calling it a remake is even fair because it's so drastically different, as has been stated already. We got about, I don't know what, 10 minutes in the movie, 15 minutes in the movie. And I'm like, okay, I really have to reevaluate how I'm looking at this because there's shit happening here. I'm like, a lot of this is drastically different than the original or the animated version that we are basing this upon or comparing it to. And as far as that goes, it's okay. I'm not a big martial arts movie fan, which this captures heavily on.
Yes.
Chinese martial arts films, I knew it right when I saw motherfuckers running up walls. I was like, okay, here we
this
are.
This is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, aka
That's
Mulan.
what I said.
Yeah,
it reminded me of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I said that because I loved like Bruce Lee movies when I was a kid, and I loved the whole their voices and mouths not matching up to the English dialogue. I love that.
Speaking of Bruce Lee, there's an actor in this movie who played Bruce Lee in a movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what I was gonna say is some of the fight stuff's cool. I'm not a big, like I said, that kind of kung fu. Like if I'm gonna watch martial arts, I'll watch I'll watch like Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris old school martial arts stuff. Where like I thought this movie was gonna be try like a more grounded take, but it's actually not. it's like trying to be more realistic, but then also drastically not realistic, even more unrealistic than the fucking animated show.
That is insane.
Comparing it to, which is fine. If this is the way they wanted to go with it, that's fine. And I don't remember any advertising for this movie either. So this is my first time watching it, by the way. I just remember, the Disney Plus thing. I had no basis. I had no idea what I was getting into. But there's no music at all. Nobody sings shit in this fucking movie.
Nope.
All of their singing songs are score.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like, there's like inserts where oh shit, that's reflections, or shit, that's I'll make a man out of you. Yeah, that's
the guy says it.
Yeah. They say a few lines from the various songs in the movie in the film, but like it's not. I don't know. We'll talk about more when we get into it. It's an okay film. I thought it was fine. I'd rather just go back and watch the animated one. It's shorter. I think has a much better flow to it. I mean, some of the fights are cool that are in this movie. I'm all for. I don't know. I just don't care about the mythical magic power thing. That's not for me. That's not what I was expecting out of the show, and I think that's kind of derailed me a little bit. There's nothing wrong with them doing that. It's just I don't know. I don't know. But okay, the other thing I'll say, I'll shout out Jimmy Wong because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Jimmy Wong from the Command Zone. I play a lot of Magic, and that's where he's from. And I knew he was in this movie, and that was like my big highlight. Like, I got to see Jimmy Wong
for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. He plays Link. So, but anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, this is. I remember seeing this when it first became available on Disney Plus without the extra fee, as I stated before, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked the action sequences. It was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to compare it to the animated film. This feels so drastically different that I can't even compare it anymore. Like, I just feel like this is a new telling of Mulan instead of it being a remake, as I feel it was advertised. It just doesn't feel like it because it's so like everything about, other than the fact that her name is Mulan, everything else is changed. Other than like the core, I mean, I guess the core story is still there. The fact that she has to pretend to be a man to get into the army to save China, and that's kind of the gist. But everything else is different, and I appreciated it because I like, as we stated before, this is a true like I from what I've read, it's based on the story called The Ballad of Mulan, which I guess there's like 3 different versions of it because there's the Ballad of Fa Mulan, which is her name in the animated version, and then it's the Ballad of Hua Mulan, which is her name in this version. I'm like, why are we doing this? But it's supposedly based on an actual event, but there's like no solid version that like people know of. like what happened to her after the fact. But yeah, this wasn't the only Mulan movie that came out that year. China released a Mulan movie within like months of this one. China, like I stated before, China had pumped out a bunch of Mulan movies over the span of like 25, 30 years. So the story was alive and well over there. And to be honest, China didn't like this movie very much because there was a lot of inaccuracies to the culture and depictions of their people and a lot of things when you dive into stories like this. A Jungle Book kind of had similar complaints on it. But you got the great thing about this is you got Asian representation in this movie. The actress who plays Mulan is Chinese. I love the cast of this movie. I think the actress who plays Mulan, which I apologize ahead of time because I can't even pronounce American names or English names so very well. So trying to pronounce a lot of these names are going to be difficult. We have Lu Yifu or Yifi. I guess that's her stage name actually. Her name is Crystal Yu or Crystal Lu.
Yifei.
Yifei.
Probably Lee.
Like I said, I apologize for these horrible pronunciations. I thought she did really well in the version of Mulan that we get. We also got some legends like Donnie Yen. Like Donnie Yen is great in everything he's in. We have Jason Scott Lee that we mentioned before. He is the actor who played Bruce Lee in the biopic from, I believe, the early 90s. He's also, a year after that movie, he would play Mowgli in the first ever live action Disney movie from the Jungle Book, which we mentioned in last week's episode.
He's also the voice of the love interest in Lilo and Stitch, like the older sister's boyfriend.
David.
Yeah, David, I think is his name.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff over the years.
Good for him.
But yeah, his biggest one was Dragon, the Bruce Lee story in 1993. He was also in Back to the Future Part 2? What?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
He might have been in Biff's gang. Now that I think about it, with Flea.
He was in the sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yep.
Sword of Destiny in 2016. But he's pretty unrecognizable in this movie. Like it was. I don't think I knew it was him the first time I watched this. It was after the fact. He also was in the Dracula sequels to Dracula 2000.
Dude, he was in Ghoulies Go to College.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Oh no. He was also Lilo and Stitch 2. He came back. Good job. Balls of Fury. Oh lord.
Yes.
What a fucking resume this man's got.
I just showed Dan that.
Also the legend himself, Jet Li as the Emperor. Also someone who is pretty unrecognizable nowadays in a lot of the roles that he plays. I remember seeing a picture of him like a couple years ago where it was like, "Ooh, what's happening to Jet Li?" And it did not look like Jet Li. Something must have happened to him where his appearance just changed drastically. I understand.
He's not the one anymore.
Dude, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
It's like Papa Roach did the whole soundtrack. It's just gently beating people's ass.
Was it from this movie and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Probably.
Like the third person I pulled up, they've been in it.
Probably.
The matchmaker from this movie is in.
Okay.
She's from an old movie from 1966.
Oh yeah, she's not young.
No, of course not.
She was born way early, 1946. So she is not young.
We have Yoson An, who played Hong Hyu. He was in a Plane from this past year. The guy that they set up to be a love interest and then didn't turn out to be the love interest of this movie was kind of a pointless character, in my opinion, did not need to exist to progress any part of the story. Yeah, that guy. Pointless ass character. And Gong Li, who she played Mulan's mom.
Yes.
Or no. She played the witch.
Yes, the witch.
Yes.
Burn the witch. I'm sorry, we're not doing that bit. Okay, carry on.
We got Zima, who played Hao Zhou, who's the father. He's been. I've seen him in a lot of things over the years. His first
Rush
movie
Hour.
was Cocaine Cowboys. He was in The Money
Yes.
Pit, RoboCop 2, Dante's Peak,
Oh, that was probably the
Rush
other thing.
Hour, as you stated, Rush
Yeah.
Hour, and Rush Hour 3.
He was the what was it? The dragon in
He was in Arrival.
what's it called?
He was the dragon.
Once Upon a Time. If you've ever watched
Like
that
the
Oh,
TV
the show.
TV
Oh,
show.
okay.
TV show.
His
He was
first.
in like every episode of that.
He was in the Cosby Show.
Hold that against him. That was a long time
I'm
ago.
just kidding. He was in one episode, guys. Let's all just relax.
Relaxing.
Was he in ER too? Because he was in an episode of ER. Like everybody else in every movie we've covered has been in one episode of ER.
Okay.
Gotta love it. Yeah. So
Just tried to think.
it's got a really good cast. The effects are good. I really enjoyed this movie the first time I watched it. And to be honest, yesterday rewatching it, I think I was judging it a little bit more based on I watched the animated version one day and then the next day I watched this one, and I was kind of nitpicking at it a little bit. But looking back, I still think this movie is really well made. It's just, I just wish Disney didn't go, this is a live action remake, because it's really not. It's just kind of Disney's live action version of the story of Mulan instead of it and I think that's the biggest issue with these live action remakes is I think there just needs to be some Disney just needs to come and be like, listen, this is not a shot for shot remake. This is literally just a live action version of a different telling of the story. And because I think this movie would have done a lot better. I mean, I think a lot of people were mad because they eliminated characters like Mushu is not in this, which is a huge character who they just cut from the movie because it wasn't practical. Yet these people are using magic. But we can't have a dragon.
There's a fucking phoenix flying
Oh
around.
my god, they took
Hey,
Fox from the
Phoenix
fucking Harry
then.
Potter movies. They're like, can you come and be in Mulan? I know you haven't had a job in a few years. Come be in Mulan.
They should have remember. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, remember, it'd be nice if they do have it nowadays. Remember back in the day, in the 90s, 80s, 90s, Disney had Touchstone
Yes.
pictures.
Yeah.
So what they should have done is they should have just released this they had them at the time, or still do, 20th Century Pictures.
Yeah.
They should have never mentioned Disney at all.
Yep. But
That's what it should have just been.
the reason Disney does this is because they know they're going to make a fuck ton of money. Now to be honest, if this didn't get released during the peak of COVID, this movie probably would have made $300, $400, $500 million, maybe even more than that, because of the fact it's called Mulan.
Yep.
That is why Disney does this. That is why Disney slaps the Disney name on these remakes, because they know that they're going to make a fuck ton of money, but they know Disney has to know they're going to get backlash for this. They know that people are going to come out like us and just completely destroy it because it's just unnecessary. Just unnecessary. This movie didn't need to be made. Or if you do make this movie, you put it under a different studio. Have it not be associated with Disney. Don't put Disney Mulan when it's not Disney's Mulan.
It's just Mulan.
Yeah. But Disney got to make that money. They didn't make much money off of that one. But that's pretty much.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, that's why we're getting a fucking Moana remake.
Ugh.
Because they know it's going to make $1 billion because people are like, Moana! They're like fucking milking themselves. Like,
yeah. Strap me into the milking machine, damn it.
Can you put me there? I want to make some money for something that isn't necessary.
I just want to be in these boardrooms. I just want to be in the boardroom when they're coming up with these non-ideas. So like, hey, I got an idea. It's like, it's not an idea. You're just going to throw a movie that doesn't have a live action remake. Like literally, I had stated this offline, but I went to go see Super Mario Brothers and they played the trailer for Little Mermaid, and I watched the trailer, and as much as I think, what's her name? Is it it's Haley Bailey, right?
Haley Bailey, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta not mix her name up with Haley Bailey. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even say the
Halle
Halle Berry. Yeah. I think she is phenomenal. I think she has a great voice, and I think she is going to do very well. And it's just the fact of like, it just looks like, to be honest, it looks like shit. The movie just doesn't look good. It's dark. Like, why do these movies have to be dark?
Yeah.
Like, it's the Little Mermaid, for crying out loud. Make it, like, give us some color, for fuck's sake. This is ridiculous with these remakes, and like, we're just gonna take it away. We're gonna make it more gritty. We're gonna make the Little Mermaid does not need to be gritty. All right. This sea witch takes this woman's voice away from her to fuck all, whatever she does. I'm getting angry, and it's going to be like this next week when we go through the live action remakes, because there are going to be a lot of the movies that are going to be exactly like this that are going to make me so fucking angry.
Her name is Halle Bailey.
Okay.
But it has Melissa McCarthy in it. And
I just don't give a shit. I'm so annoyed with these fucking movies.
I know. I love Melissa McCarthy.
They're gonna fuck it up. They just need to make it like
okay. So I've pulled up. I have it pulled up, and there's some screenshots. It's dark.
It's so dark. I don't understand.
Is it the pictures of like her looking at Eric's ship at nighttime?
No,
or just in general.
So it's a screenshot of her swimming up to the surface, and it's just dark. Like, the only thing that's not dark is right at the surface of the water.
Yeah.
And, like, you can see reflection from the surface, but it's like everything else, it goes from light to immediately dark. There's like no like in between. It's just light dark.
I'm excited for all the unnecessary CG. That's what I'm excited for.
The scene that I saw in the trailer, I know is the scene of her playing with her things as she finds, and then she hears the explosion from the ship, and it's at night. So I understand why it's dark there, but there's this, they show in one of the first trailers they showed of that movie was her doing the thing where she's on the rock and the wave crashes over her. That's during the day.
I mean, that's bright, but
it's not though. It still looks dark as fuck in that trailer.
Like, behind her is light. It's like
it is light, so it's the daytime, but it still looks dark.
But it's like the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, put her toward the light, not away from the light.
I could go off for hours talking about these.
That
might be what happened next week.
I don't think we got that.
Nope, we didn't.
As our trailer.
I was just there for Mario. I didn't give a fuck about anything else.
But I don't remember seeing that at the beginning of Mario.
It's just me.
Just go watch Mario. People, just go watch Mario.
Yes, go watch Mario. It's a good time. It's a fun time.
Of them in the boat together. It's dark.
I think it's gonna be such a shame.
Sarah's had.
All right.
I know. We're derailing.
I have to go take her.
Oh yeah, we'll talk more about this next week when we talk about we go through every live action remake.
I want it to do.
Let's go through the plot of this movie, because as I stated, it's very different from the animated version, so there's a lot to talk about. So this movie, Mulan, instead of being a clumsy teenager, however old she is, she's got chi, so she can do crazy things. She's very resourceful. But she has to hide it because girls aren't supposed to have it or something like that.
They're not supposed to do what the men do.
I get it. It's a thing of the times, right? We understand it was not acceptable for women to do that. They had roles. I don't know if that's how it worked in Chinese culture, but some cultures at those times, the women had defined roles, as well dudes had defined roles.
Huh. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The dad makes that statement. He's like, "I know my place. You need to find your place."
Yeah.
They're supposed to take care of. They are supposed to take care of the men. They are supposed to be matched with their perfect match, which it ain't. No, it's whoever's in their village that's available.
They got fucking Cletus over there just waiting.
Like, okay, from any matches that I have ever ever seen. It's not even a match. It's a whoever has the money.
Yeah.
And I hate that, because I guess me being raised in a culture that is unaware of what happens in other countries, which I know it's all about money, and I hate that. I hate that.
Still happens today.
It still happens, and it gets younger and younger.
So Mulan is a child, and she's chasing a chicken around. She's trying to herd the chickens for her dad, and one gets away, and she has to chase it on the roof of the village, which the village is literally like 50 feet by 50 feet.
Like 3 stories.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, it's like one big apartment building. Yeah.
Yeah. And she chases the chicken onto the roof, and of course her parents, like, they know that she has the chi, so they told her to hide it, but she's doing all these crazy things. She literally gets off the roof in like the smoothest way possible, and everyone's like, disgusted, and like walk away. I would have been like, that was fucking cool.
It's Elsa.
She's Chinese Elsa, dude. Figured it out. Who broke the code?
That's it.
Hey. It's not a live action remake of Mulan. This is a live action remake of Frozen.
I can't wait till we get like the super powered Princess Avengers in the Disney universe. This is
That's what it's aiming towards. Yeah.
Oh man.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
No, we couldn't.
There was supposed to be a show on
There was.
CW, and it got
Live
canceled
action
because it got tested terribly. But I digress.
Reviews, so.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like teenage or adult versions of the Powerpuff Girls. It had a Chloe. It had one of the actresses from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in it. I can't remember what the actress's name is, but I was like, oh, I mean, I'd watch it for her because, yeah, that's a reason. But yeah, back to this. No one wants to marry a girl who flips around. Which?
I thought you were gonna say no one wants to talk about this movie. I was like, yeah, sure, Parker. That's why we keep talking about everything but this fucking movie.
It's not that bad, everybody. It's not that bad. Give it a chance. But the thing that I really was not a fan of in this movie was the whole Phoenix thing. I could not. This was part of the movie. I was like, this was dumb. Give me Mushu.
As a person that loves phoenixes, I have a phoenix tattooed on my leg. I could have done without. I honestly thought when she first saw it that somebody was flying a kite.
It looked awful. The CG on this Phoenix looks awful.
That's what I thought. I'm like, somebody's flying a kite above her, telling her where she needs to go, and then
this guy behind the rock.
Like,
yeah.
Go this way, Mulan.
Yeah.
I was like, man, where's Mushu? He's flying that kite.
Let me ask you real quick. Like, you see the Phoenix a couple of times, right? Around her and another group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Do they see the Phoenix too?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
That's fucking dumb then.
So.
I think it's like a spirit. It's not an actual Phoenix. It's like a spirit or something like that.
It could have been Mushu.
I think it's just for her because later you see it in the reflection of the sword, and then it backs up and you don't see it at all. But she still acts like she sees it. So I'm assuming that it's just for her.
Hallucinogens.
Does it also cry in her wound to heal her?
Probably.
Oh no. I told you it's Fox, man. He needed a job. So we see a witch. I do like the look of the witch, by the way. I like at some points, like her fingers are like the tips of her fingers are just talons.
I thought
that was a really cool look.
Love
she was also, to be honest, though, she was kind of in a there's a lot of unnecessary characters in this movie that really don't play much into what happens.
I get why they brought her in though.
Yeah.
Because, he had a hawk. She's his hawk.
She could have just had a hawk.
Well, but it's also she is like a polar opposite of Mulan. Like she has the same chi and power that Mulan has. It. This is what she could be if she chose to go that way.
It's Darth Vader. I mean,
that's it. It's Elsa versus Darth Vader. I like it.
There you go.
Wow. Why did we get that movie?
Ooh, that would
Yeah, she takes over a man's body and he goes into like a stronghold. And then you see these.
I don't like it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
She can't be a man.
So instead of the Huns in this movie, they're the Rorons, which I guess were the actual enemy in the original poem.
They were around that time.
And their leader is Bori Khan, played by Jason Scott Lee. And I loved this. This was cool, but also made me laugh was how they had to they're like riding their horse is really cool. And then like his shroud just falls off his face. And then they all just stand on top of their horses like, because then they got to jump off the horses to run up the wall. And I was like, what am I watching?
And then you're like, God, the animated one was so much more grounded. Whatever happened to grappling?
When an animated movie is more grounded than a live action one, you're like, what is going on here?
Like, yes, you can climb up a wall a few feet, but not keep running. I'm like, okay.
Everybody has cheat. Everybody has cheat. Everybody's magical to a certain degree.
What'd you guys think of the camera switch? Like when they would run up the wall, they actually turn the camera so it was you see him looks like he's just continuing to run, but he's actually running up the wall. They did that quite a bit in this movie.
I enjoy that because it, like I said, it reminds me of those. We always referred them as kids as the bad Chinese movies, but they're not bad. They're not bad. It was just because their voices never matched up with the English. So you would hear people say, oh, those are the bad Chinese movies. And I'm like, no, those are great. I love them.
Oh, so we then meet the Emperor, played by Jet Li. And he is very serious and gravelly.
And he definitely don't.
And I was like, I don't like this Emperor compared to the animated Emperor. He's just so to be honest, I was like, I don't want to deal with this guy. Fuck this Emperor.
Yeah, I agree.
He's too serious.
He's like all up his own ass. He's like, what? You stepped foot in my kingdom? Fuck that dude. Let's kick his ass.
He's
instantly.
They're like, it's the Rorons. It's Bori Khan. He's like, I killed Bori Khan. And the guy's just like, it's his son, you idiot. Of course it's not the guy you killed, stupid.
It's Junior.
It's his son, Shao Kahn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, Lord. So, yeah, they got to build an army to stop him. So we then get the whole Mulan getting ready to go to see the matchmaker because I guess she has a match in this one and she just has to be approved by the matchmaker before anything happens. And yeah, this is. Yep, of course, you get the same thing. But the difference is instead of her just being clumsy and causing chaos with the matchmaker, you find out that her sister doesn't like spiders. And a spider just randomly fucking shows up.
Her who? Her little sister?
Oh, yes. Another big difference.
Here.
Not little brother. Little sister.
No, little sister. Yeah. Forgot to mention. She has a sister in this
She
one.
doesn't have siblings. Where did this come from?
Yeah. So, yeah, you find out her sister doesn't like spiders. A spider randomly shows up, and she's just trying to hide the spider so that her sister doesn't freak out. And it's a whole thing where the matchmaker's like, you need to put the tea in the center of the table. And she's like, I agree, but I think it should stay right there. And she's like, put it back in the center of the table. And
when she goes in by herself and she has to do this all alone. That's why she has the stuff written on her arm. She has to do this alone. And now she's got the
everybody watching her.
Her mom, her grandmother and her sister all watching.
Well, no, it wasn't her grandmother. Her grandmother's not in this one.
Well, there's plenty of people in this
room.
So
it was 3 people. Well, technically, there's the matchmaker, Mulan, her sister, her mom, and I think it's the mother of the guy she got matched with.
Okay. I was like, there's way too many people in this room. If her sister wasn't there, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fuck her sister.
Yeah, because she lifts up the teapot and she starts screaming, and then the spider gets falling in. Yeah, and of course she catches. Yeah,
it's not even a bait and switch. It's not like she lifts up the pot and there's no spider there. The spider is still fucking there, and no one sees it. No one sees it other than the little sister.
Yep.
Like this is not a little cute jumping spider. This is like orb weaver type, and it just launches itself at her.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that. By the
They
way.
don't.
They don't.
They don't do that.
They don't do that. They can run, but they can't jump like that.
Oh, Dan, I can't wait to talk about Eight-Legged Freaks so you could just completely destroy that movie.
I mean, I can
I love
We'll
that
get
movie.
there.
So yeah, she catches all the things, and then she like does. Oh, her hair gets in her face, and it causes her to drop everything.
Whoa, whoa.
I wanted her to make that noise. It just falls down. And yeah, so she's ashamed to her family, to her country. She should just go dig a hole and jump in. So this is when we get the scene where they go in to say, oh, the Rurons or Rorons, how the hell you say these fucking people, they are going to attack, or they are attacking. We need one man per family to come. And of course, the dad in this one is in rougher shape than the dad in the animated version. The dad in the animated version, he had a rough time, but he seemed to like hold himself. This one is like, this man can barely walk.
Yeah, and I think it's with the visual aid of the knee brace. Like in the animated one, you didn't see anything helping his handicap.
Yeah.
And we get to see it here. So,
like in the animated one, he's just like limping. In this one, like you see him fixing his brace. You know, tightening it up, and like you don't see much of him just other than limping.
Yeah. So she watches him as he's like, you know, he takes his sword out and he's, you know, using it, and he falls down and all that stuff. And we get the whole thing where she decides she's going to take his place. Mulan, this difference is like she takes everything. She takes the sword, the armor, all that stuff. And then she takes the horse and goes, and then she just gets lost.
Yeah.
Like she's like, it's taking way too long to get to the camp. And this is when the Phoenix is like, I'm here. Let me show you the way.
I do like the Phoenix pendant thing that he has. I do.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that as being more, I guess, not Chinese related, but like more of the time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed because she leaves that. She doesn't take that with. Because he finds that in her hairpin.
Mm-hmm.
But he uses that pendant to pray with to make the Phoenix appear.
Yeah. Because when they find out she's gone, he prays the Phoenix to protect. But yeah, you get the visual representation of the Phoenix showing up and like leading her to the camp.
I just like that because it's so, I guess, detailed. It's really pretty detailed.
The Phoenix?
The medallion.
Oh, the medallion. I thought you meant the Phoenix itself. The Phoenix itself looks like ass.
Yeah, it looks like a party favor.
It seriously, it looks like a fucking kite. Like it just there's the coloring is weird. It just doesn't blend well.
I'm waiting for somebody to take a stick out and hit it and it blow up into a pinata candy and
Yay!
So we meet Donnie Yen, who is the commanding officer of the camp, which is another difference, because in the anime version, as we talked about, Shang was the like commanding officer of the camp, where now we have Donnie Yen, and they kind of set up this sort of replacement for Shang, which is what's his name, Chen Hongwei. Who, like I stated before, is one of the most useless characters in this movie. He did not need to exist. We did not need to have any visual of a possible love interest for Mulan. And I love that at the end, you don't. Like, she just doesn't want any of that.
Nope.
I'm good, thanks. She gets into it with him while they're in line waiting to check in to the camp. And this is where it has to come up with a name for herself. And what is her name in this? What does she call herself? Ha Jun.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they tell him about the like showering and stuff like that, and because she can't really shower with the guys, she always volunteers to do night watch. And I love the fact that eventually to the point where they're like, "You really need to take a shower because you stink."
Yeah. Well, we get returning characters here too. Like we get Yao and Ling and Chiempo and Cricket as
But
a
they're
person.
all forgettable characters. They're all forgettable. Seriously, all the side characters in this movie, like all the like part of this group, they're so forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know whose name, like who was who. Like you're talking about Jimmy Wong, he played Ling. Yep. I couldn't tell you who he was.
The only reason I could tell the difference is Chiempo makes the it doesn't matter what she looks like, just what she cooks like line.
Oh,
like
yeah.
He says that shit.
Yeah.
The guy that keeps getting picked on. This guy right here. I don't remember.
Yeah, he gets kicked out early. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he gets kicked out for dumping the water out while they're going up the mountain.
Dishonesty.
Yeah.
Like he gets hit like twice. He's like, ow. Like, poor guy. He just keeps getting picked on. And then he gets kicked out. And I'm like, dang it. Poor guy.
So, yeah, they have a character, like a human character who they were like, yeah, this is going to be, his name is Cricket because there was a cricket in the animated one, guys. Like
his mom said he was really lucky when he was younger.
Oh,
he was real lucky when he was a kid.
Stupid. So stupid.
If you have no relevance for him, just don't put him in the fucking
movie. It doesn't make me go, oh my God, that's so cool. No, it doesn't. It's dumb.
A character named Mushu.
Thank God.
I wouldn't put it past him though, because like in the animated when he goes, I got this tattoo for fucking protection. It's a red dragon.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see something like that in this, and that could have been their Mushu tie-in.
Yeah.
Nobody had tattoos.
No.
I don't know if that was commonplace back then. I have no idea.
So we get a training montage. And
nobody was getting down to business to defeat the Huns. I'm gonna tell you that.
No. Yeah.
We literally get the line from the like second in command there, who's just like, "We're gonna make men out of you," and that was about it. Yeah. And you get the whole thing where they talk about the punishments, like desertion, penalty, death. Like I'll going through that, and then what was it? Oh, dishonesty, penalty, expulsion, disgrace.
But they lean on that a lot for the sheer fact of what Mulan's facade is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then you get the whole thing where they're sitting around, they're talking about, hey, what's your ideal woman? And then you get that whole conversation, and it's kind of that it's the song, but in kind of just a conversation form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We they get a conversation between Hongwei and Mulan. We then see Mulan using her chi to fight. And then this is when they because they're like training with each other, and the guy's beating her, and so she decides to use her chi, and she does some cool shit. And they're like, "Oh, whoa, he's so cool!" And yeah, but then they come in, they like congratulate her, and they're like, "You really need to shower." So then we get the skinny dipping scene. Or the bathing scene. And
skinny dipping.
Yeah. They did some shots where I was like, what are you doing, Disney? What are you doing? Some of the camera shots, I swear, like the camera guy had the shot of like, you usually shoot like right above, and it started like slipping. I was like, whoa! And someone had to stop him, like pull it up, like, whoa, dude, this is a Disney movie.
This ain't this kind of film, dude.
And then, when she gets in the water, they cover her ass with a cherry blossom. I was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, we almost seen more tids in this than we did in the last movie we talked about.
Yeah. Jesus. All right. Yeah, so we get the whole thing where but it's different in this one where Hongwei comes and he's like thanking her, and like he's like, oh wow, that's really cool what you did, and blah blah blah. And she's like, I'm not your friend, please go away. And he's like, fine, and just leaves.
He's like, can we be friends? Can we just be friends? And she's like, no.
We're not friends. We just work together.
Yes.
This guy is trying so hard, and he never gets her. Bori Khan plans his attack, and the witch is not a fan of her role because pretty much she gets called a slave, and she's like, "That's not cool." He's like, "Well, I saved you, and so you have an eternal debt to me." And I was like, "Oh, okay." We then she gets talked to by the commanding officer about using, like, you need to use your chi. Like, if you don't hide anymore. I know you have it in you. Do it. And then it was the whole thing where he's excited to introduce Mulan to his daughter. And she's like, "That would be an honor. This is weird."
Yeah.
But yeah, this is also a little bit before was the fact that she's the first person to make it to the top of the mountain with the two waters. That shit, I would make it 10 steps and I'd be like, "No, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do whatever you got to do."
That's when he got kicked out because
Yeah.
he was trying to be fucking slick and pouring some of that water out.
Yeah.
And as he was doing that shit, dude, someone came down and seen him, and he was like, "All right, go on and get."
You gotta go, buddy. You gotta go.
Oh.
But at least in the animated movie, they had like the pole across it too, so they actually had better support. Where these, you gotta hold your arms out, and you're like, "This is like my arms hurt watching that."
Yeah.
Like, how long can you hold out straight?
I have the worst upper body strength, so for me, not very long. So we get a Roran attack, and Mulan and the others are sent to fight. Mulan is getting. Oh, we already talked about that. They see the carnage left behind by Bori Khan, as kind of similar to what we saw before, but we see a lot of dead bodies, unlike the animated version. There's dead bodies everywhere. And this is when they go to a stronghold, and they kind of are told, like, we're going to fight. We're not going to back down. Doesn't matter how outnumbered we are. And they're like, "Oh, so we're all going to die. Okay, cool. Let's have a cool one last time. We're going to sit around the fire and talk about something, knowing we're all going to die."
Gonna hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah, pretty much. So they get sent into battle. Mulan and a squad chase Bori Khan and his scary men, who do really cool flippity flops. They flip around their horses to shoot the arrows.
You're talking about them fucking standing on their horse and running up the wall, dude. When they go,
Yeah, I was like, "Whoa!"
dude,
But
they flip around
no,
shoot the fucking arrow.
that is actually something that they do in rodeos.
It's
I believe
insane.
It was getting to witness it was a spectacle. Yeah.
I've watched rodeo riders do that, and I'm like, can you play that back in slow motion? Because I don't know how you did it.
They have chi.
Apparently,
clearly.
they do.
Yeah.
Cowboy
You want to
chi.
know what's funny is like these Bori Khan's like group there, because not all of them look like this. This is like his like core little group that wears like all black. They look like the I can't remember what they were called in The Mummy, the Watchers of Imhotep.
Yeah.
But they fuck off. Like they there's like the 10 in the front, like they're all charging and they go whoop and they fucking go right and let everyone from the other 10 fucking other 10 tribes take this fight on.
Yeah. Yeah, because you get the whole scene where the Rorans are like, there's different tribes that they all meet with Bori Khan, and Bori Khan's like, "I need your armies. We need to do this." And some of them are like, "Nah, fuck you, man."
Yeah.
The 12 tribes of something.
Yeah.
Because they're nomadic. They're not really like a country per se.
They
Yeah.
don't
Just a group of
belong
like
to
different
anything. They're
tribes
just
of
there.
nomads.
Yeah, because Bori Khan is like, there's gonna be so much riches, and he's like, what are riches to nomads?
Yeah, how much gold can a nomad carry?
Yeah. So yeah, they're chasing off, and Mulan ends up being the only one, because everyone else dies except for two guys. They turn around and say, "Fuck this shit," and she chases him, but then encounters the witch, and she fights the witch, and the witch knows exactly who she is. To the point where she gets her with one of those like throwing stars in the chest, and that's when Mulan just decides, "I'm gonna be myself."
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
her literal plot armor saved her.
Literally. Yeah.
But it's in like the shape of it's like claws or something.
Yeah,
It's like yeah.
Eagle
It's
claw.
like claws on the side and this.
I did not like that this was the way that she decides to expose herself. Like like her getting injured, saving people, and then they find out she's a woman, I think is a better reveal than just the witch going, I know you're not a man and I know you have magic like me. Use it, and then she almost dies, and she's like, well, I guess this is a wake-up call. I guess I'm gonna just be Mulan again.
Yeah, I know. The whole I get what they were kind of going for, but I don't think it was executed well at all.
She didn't need to take her hair down because that gets in the way. She didn't need to remove all her armor because that's what's saving her.
She's got chi. Okay? She's got chi.
Okay, but the first person that comes up near her and yanks her hair out of her head, yeah, she's done.
Her hair will fight back.
It will, it's true.
I mean, their scarves and stuff, they can use those to fight back. Like,
beat each other up with fucking dish towels and shit.
that's what I
Jet Li
said.
does it later.
I was gonna say, he does that same thing. Oh my god.
Yes. But as a female, you don't wear it gets in the way. Like the wind, it would have blown her hair like right in her face and she'd have been blinded.
I mean, how long? Okay, so if you could put a timestamp on her training, how long do you think she was there?
Not long. Probably a couple weeks.
Yeah, I would say 3 or 4 weeks.
Not long because they say, oh, we've had to cut it short because we're called to battle.
So how many times did she bathe?
Once.
Her hair is probably greasy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
So
and I'm sorry, but bathing doesn't mean walking into a lake and not doing shit to it. Okay, she walks into the lake and just goes, and then she did she have soap? Did she have anything? No, she walked into the water. I'm sorry, but if I smell like ass and I walk into a lake, I'm walking out of the lake still smelling like ass.
Wet ass.
Wet ass, yeah.
Wet ass. Wombat.
And to be honest, this isn't the only movie that's ever done that shit. There's so many times where be like, man, I'm a stinky man, and I just jump into a pond and I get out. I'm like, I'm clean.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did you watch the what's his name from The Witcher?
Henry
Just sit in the
Cavill.
tub.
Yeah.
He just sits.
Yeah.
There's no bathing going on. He just sits and gets out.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So this is when we hear reflections kind of playing in the background because that's all we get for these songs. And yeah, she gets to the fight. You know, she rides into battle and continues to help fight. And she notices that she can trick the enemy. So she gets behind them and is shooting a bunch of them, and then it tricks them to turn around and shoot at the mountain, which will cause an avalanche. And so we get our avalanche scene, which we get again see Mulan fucking surfing with a horse, saving a character that I wish she just would have left because he's pointless.
Been fine. He can swim. Right?
Yeah.
And and then she exposes herself being who she is. I mean, it's more of just her, giving herself up. And she's expelled. She's sent away, never to come back until 2 seconds later when she goes and warns him that Bori Khan survived.
I'd rather be executed.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like that the enemies were smart enough to attack when they were all in one central area.
Yeah.
Like they were all in their little turtle shields. And they're like, fuck yeah, let's get the catapult out.
Yeah, and then you get the explosion when it hits and it's just like sending the bodies everywhere.
I still can't think of the show that I watched. The Viking show.
Vikings?
No, it's something else.
Oh.
And all I could shield wall. All I could think of was that. And I'm like, damn it, they're pulling that into this. They're all gonna die.
So yeah, she goes to warn the Donnie Yen about Bori Khan's plan, and of course, like you get the whole dramatic scene of him like taking his sword out because you think he's gonna have to kill her, but everybody around him sticks up for Mulan. So it's like, okay, Mulan, you're okay. We'll accept you.
And they just put her a pointer as leader. Fuck, you're in charge now.
I was about to kill you, but now we're gonna make you leader. This is weird. I don't understand what's happening here.
All it takes is their little chant, like you believed, whatever she used as her name.
Yeah.
Why don't you believe Huan or Mulan? And I'm like, is that all it takes? Is to sway his decision on whether he believes her or not? Is them saying it like 4 times and it's over?
Yep.
I believe her.
Heart of the cards, man.
Dang it. The power of Christ compels you.
You activated my trap card.
I performed an exorcism. The power of Christ compels you.
So Boricon is in the city and he challenges the Emperor to a duel. I was like, oh, okay.
Walked up and slaps him with a white glove.
My dragon.
So we then see Donnie Yen do some really cool shit. We see Jet Li do some really cool shit. The Emperor slaps some dudes around with a tapestry, pretty much, as Dustin stated. He literally grabs one that's just like whoosh, whoosh. He's like, literally wet towel in their fucking faces.
Like the ultimate gym bro. Like
just tossing them around and just like, oh wow. My son goes, how can he do that? I was like, he's got the chi. He's got the chi. So Mulan asks for the witch's help. I mean, she initially thinks it's the Emperor, but it turns out to be the witch. And then she's like, hey, I know Boricon is a piece of shit. I know he doesn't treat you very well, so you should help me. And she's like, I won't help you until she does. She sacrifices herself.
He says something to her that makes her change.
Oh, he gives her a little bit of a pep talk when she shows up there.
Yeah.
But this is after when like Mulan is running towards where the Emperor is, and the witch is talking to Boricon, and he's like, oh yeah, so she's coming to try to kill you, and he's like, okay, well I'm gonna shoot an arrow at her, and then she's like, no, just hawk arrow.
All of her magic powers in the world, no, she couldn't think of any other way to stop it but with her body.
Captain Planet.
She is Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, it was a weird way to die.
I thought it was weird that she just kind of upped and changed her mind. Like, oh well, I'm just gonna save her now.
He wasn't happy with the arrangement to begin with, but her motivation was so inconsistent in the beginning. He's like, I can kill you right now. And he's like, no, you can't. Why?
Because she was pretty much to herself. I get it, but she just kind of changed her mind mid fight. Like, here she is. Oh, no, I'm just gonna go over here now.
Like, she literally could have iced the dude at the beginning of the movie, and he gave, like, this really fucking lame-ass reason why she could
have killed them all.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, just fucking
every single one.
I was expecting her, this is what I was expecting. Her just to go, like, I'm the fucking Pope now, and just murk everybody. And
I'm the captain now.
I am the captain. Look at me, I'm the captain now. Like, fucking mercs, fucking, yeah. Boricon, and just start nuking everybody.
Could taken out everything.
Then she opens up a portal to Netherrealm, and it's Mortal Kombat. Fucking #1 starts. It's the first tournament, and then yeah.
Dude, I feel like we've written a better movie than this is.
And they have.
Sometimes that happens on this show. We end up when we talk about movies that are just not great, we end up writing better ones.
Bird ladies and cowboy chi. I'm all about it.
Cowboy chi. That's a perfect name for a show. So Mulan loses in her father's sword. It falls into the one little pit of molten metal, and that's what
they were playing Minecraft. You know, where they have to jump in the water. And like, because that one pool of water, like that is exactly what it did.
So the Emperor, this is when the Emperor gives her a little pep talk, and she powers up, and then she like fights him and does cool flippity flips and does cool things. Yeah, and the Phoenix shows up, and again, The
Men's
Emperor.
together.
This is when the Emperor and Mulan work together to kill Bori Khan because they sent Bori Khan to the ground.
It's so hard to not be disrespectful, but I feel like everything I've said so far.
Finish saying what you're going to say. I have a brilliant idea.
Okay.
Oh, go for it.
So, yeah, Bori Khan, he falls to the ground, shoots an arrow. The Emperor catches it, and then tells Mulan to do a really horribly done CG kick where he throws
But
up the
it's
arrow
not-
and she kicks
It's not
the.
the first time she's done that, though.
Yeah, but this
Like, she
looks
did it-
awful. This looks horrible.
It didn't look very great in her first fight either when she was fighting with Hong Wei or what? I don't know.
Oh, when she kicks the spear at him.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying
Yeah.
the
it's
spear
the
has
end, but it's the end of the spear with the.
it has a larger surface to kick than an arrow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I don't get it, dude.
But like it was almost too perfect both times. Like it was just like
Gee.
right there.
I think it would have been cooler if he just like tossed the arrow up in there and she caught it, just like bing.
You know what?
She could have took her hair.
Use it as an arrow. Yes.
As a bow.
Well,
Yes.
I was
as
gonna
a
say
bow.
what's actually it's cooler and it's already happened. Is this is just a retake? They just borrowed the entire scene from the ending of the original Scorpion King movie.
Oh no.
That which was done way better there. I'm just gonna say right.
Oh Lord.
Oh no, but no. What I was gonna say is, you remember right before she gets her power up, right, and like the Phoenix appears behind her, and you can see the wings. For those of you who have ever seen Ronin Warriors, I just imagine she just gets encased in flames and like has like armor. And it's like fucking power and just nukes his ass. Somebody's gonna get that.
I also want to state, like, this isn't the first time that Jet Li has played an emperor. He played the Dragon Emperor in The Mummy: Curse of the Dragon Emperor, which was the third Mummy movie.
Movie fucking blows.
It's back there, baby, ready to be reviewed.
I got over halfway through that movie and stopped watching it.
Oh, I can't wait for you to watch it again. So Bori Khan can't catch the arrow. He dies. This is where we get our Ming Na Wen cameo. She introduces Mulan, which I thought was a really cool way to include her in this.
Yep.
And Mulan, of course, she gets offered a job as a part of the Emperor's Guard. She declines. She wants to go home and kind of see her family again since it didn't go the way she wanted to. Then we get this really awkward goodbye with Hong Wei, or oh my god, I think I've said his name.
Leave.
Yeah, he really just wants.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Let me do the thing with the hands. Like, wash your fucking hands, sir. All right, I've taken a shower 2 weeks ago. You can't fucking ruin this for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this character
Still won't
was
touch
useless.
my hand. Like, yeah, your hand's
Yeah,
gross.
I don't know
It's
who. Like,
dirty.
I still don't know you, man. I still don't know you.
She pretty much just goes.
Yeah, it's like bye. Just rides up. So
But when she pulls her hair down from her bun, she either has the thinnest hair of any person ever, or they made her bun look small. Because when she pulls her hair up, her bun is like the size of a toilet paper roll. And then she pulls her hair down. I'm like, damn, she has more hair than I do.
It's her chi.
She
I don't
condensed.
know.
It must be because I can put my bun up, and I have way more looking hair than she does, and she got a lot of hair.
So she goes home and, sees her sister, her father, and stuff like that. You get the whole thing. It's like, I lost your sword. I know how much you love that sword. He's like, I love my daughter more. And then,
Finally.
yeah. And, the Donnie Yen shows up and gives her a new sword. And then, we get the Phoenix flying around one last time. And then we get Christina singing Reflections one more time, and I was like, yeah, give me all this. This was the best part of the movie. I'd listen to Christina Aguilera sing this fucking song all day.
I can listen to her sing, but I cannot watch her sing.
Yeah, but it was a good bookend. Like, at the beginning of the movie, everyone was like, Mulan.
Yeah.
But then at the end of this, everyone was fucking cheering for her, you know? Like,
they're like, I think most people were just like, what did she do? Like, what? Why is everybody so happy? Yeah.
I mean, her
News
her
travels
little
fast,
village
by the way.
doesn't know.
yeah.
Yeah, her little village doesn't know.
But that's it. That is the 2020 Mulan. we'll make this quick, okay? We're over almost 2 hours and 15 minutes into this sucker.
Yeah, let's make it quick.
Was there anything from this version of Mulan that is better than the animated version?
No.
Because, like I said, it should just not be.
Jimmy Wong's in it.
Well,
That's
for
mine.
10
That's it.
seconds.
That's all I got. That's all I got. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's very unnecessary.
Yeah, and that's a huge difference between our last couple episodes where, even though the Beauty and the Beast, the 1991 version won that, there was still parts of the live action remake that were better than the animated version. And then the Jungle Book, of course, was all over the place. This one there was not one thing that I would have stated, oh, that is better than the animated version. The animated version is so good. And the way that I think, and we talked about it to death, Disney just, I think, fucked up this movie. Like the way that they advertised it, the way that it was pushed out. I just don't think it was necessary to make it, but Disney's got to make a quick buck. And how's it easy to make a quick buck? And just make live action versions of your animated films. God damn. All right, now that we're done talking about the movies, we're going to go into Twitter and Instagram and see what comments we got from the people out there. And we only got one this week, which is okay. I appreciate everybody who comments. We got a comment from Darren from Nostalgia Cast over on Twitter who said, as a half Chinese man, the Asian stereotyping in the 98 is a bit much. I like how I'll Make a Man Out of You is sung by the whitest white dude on earth. And we did mention that. But it's well-meaning. The 20, on the other hand, gives the characters mystic bird powers and isn't much of a corrective. All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, thank you.
Thank you for leaving that comment, Darren. We always appreciate your feedback. Probably one of the smartest dudes on the fucking, when it comes to film Twitter. I take everything Darren says to heart. So thank you. Yeah. So make sure every single week, usually Friday or Saturday before we record, I usually will post on Twitter and Instagram about whatever movie we're covering. So you guys can leave comments on what you thought of the movie. Please leave comments. It's fun to read your thoughts. If you like it, you don't like it. We're not biased here. Even if we like a movie, we will read anything you put, except if it's super offensive. I ain't reading that shit. I delete it. So yeah, thank you everybody. But next week, we're going to be going more in depth as we go through the entirety of Disney's live action remakes. We're going to be doing short descriptions. We're not going to be doing what we did the last few weeks. We're going to be talking about each one and kind of ranking them in a way. So it's going to be a good time. There's going to be probably a lot of angry rants because when you're talking about Disney remakes, there's going to be a lot of things that aren't well liked, especially from me.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be
probably mostly everybody. Everybody on this show is gonna have some heated arguments. Listen, there are good ones out there,
Yes.
but most of them are just not well liked because they're unnecessary.
Well, that's even fair for this one.
Mhm.
It's an okay film. It's just not necessary, and it does not even stand up close to the fucking 98 one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Disney's attempt at a martial arts film. I feel like this was the test before we got Shang-Chi,
which is
to be honest.
Shang-Chi was good.
which is good.
Yeah, I like Shang-Chi. I like Shang-Chi a lot. It was a breath of fresh air for the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So so this is our final episode of our breakdown of animated versus live action. Next week we're just going to be talking about live action. We're going to be going through the list, and then we're going to be back to bringing on guests and having them choose movies. We're going to be having the ladies from Dune Generation are going to be on in a few weeks. We have the official Joey C coming on the show to talk about a certain movie. We got some cool guests coming up, some great movies to talk about, and then probably in the next month or so, we're going to be diving back into another franchise. And we stated since it is the 100th anniversary of Disney, we're going to keep going, and we're going to be jumping into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl is celebrating its 20th anniversary, which is just absolutely insane to think about. So yeah, we're going to be jumping into that probably in the next month or so. So very excited. And Dustin, It is always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for coming on to talk about these movies.
It was a blast.
Thank you, sir.
You probably would be like, hey, why are these episodes so long? Well, we had to talk about 2 movies. So talking about 2 movies, sometimes it goes a little longer than usual. I mean, nothing will beat Titanic from a couple weeks ago. That's almost 3 hours long. So suck it up, people. You know how it is when you listen to the show.
What was it?
Jurassic World Dominion.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. You guys know what you're getting when you listen to the show. We don't have short episodes.
No.
Because we don't know when to shut the fuck up.
I don't either. It's true.
Yeah, so I want to thank all of our patrons who, so graciously drop us money so that they can get episodes early and to help us out, produce more of the show. Dustin is a proud patron of our show. But yeah, for $1, you can get episodes early. I'm trying to get them out at least the Monday before their initial release. So you get a nice 4 or 5 days between, getting it on Patreon and then getting it for everybody else. So that's pretty cool. So for $1, you can get episodes early. And then we're going to be creating more tiers down the road with some extra content. And we got ideas. We just got to do it. So that'll be coming up very, very soon, hopefully. And Dustin, where can everybody find you?
We can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, at the Flicks and Friends Podcast. Social medias, we're on Twitter at F_F Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Flicks and Friends Podcast.
As I stated before, all of the links to Flicks and Friends are going to be down in the description. And guys, seriously, go listen to Flicks and Friends. It is a great show. It's also nice and relatively short compared to us. So, you can take in more Flicks and Friends at one time. They can fit 2 episodes of theirs into one of ours. But no, it's a great show. We've been on there. We talked Grizzly over there, which was a fun movie. I've been over there to talk about a couple other things, and Dustin and his crew over there are awesome guys that run a great show, and you guys need to go support them. What? I got no beer tonight, people. Water it is.
For Loco.
But yeah, so you can find us at Dissect That Film on all the different social medias. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, whatever podcast service you use, we're there. Also, wherever you listen to us, please rate us 5 stars, leave us a review. More reviews you guys leave us, the more ears we get into. Okay, we want more people to listen to our show, and so when if you listen to us, wherever you listen to us, it's as easy as just clicking 5 stars on Spotify, hitting 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Write a little review if you want. You don't have to, but it helps us out. So, and it's free. Also, if you watch us on YouTube or listen to us on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That's all free too, which is great. All right. That's enough from us. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. And that is Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast. And this has been the Dissect That Film podcast, episode 104. We'll see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.